Good morning, Quad Cities. It is Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. It is 9 o'clock, and it is time for Ask Andrew Live. I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
And I'm weather anchor Peter Warner.
We are back again.
We're back again.
Yes, the dynamic duo has returned, podiums and all.
Oh my goodness.
We are
yes.
so ready for your questions today.
It's going to be a good one. I just have a feeling.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about, as we always do. If this is your first time, of course, welcome aboard. We are so happy to have you along. This is the only 30-minute streaming show, weather-wise, in the Quad Cities. We're
Only
happy to
one.
say. You guys get to pull up a chair, pull up on your love seat, whatever you may be sitting on. Maybe you're sitting on the floor. I'm not judging.
I've been there before. It's comfortable sometimes.
Sometimes you need that for your back, you know? You need something a
But
little
also
more
like
solid.
on these cool mornings too, when it's nice and cool.
Yeah.
On the carpet or wood.
Exactly. Or maybe you're sitting in your desk at school, or you're sitting in your car. Well, whatever you're doing.
We won't tell on anyone.
We won't say a word. No, your secret is safe with us. But we want to thank you for being here. If this is your first time, if you have a question, there's a number that you can text that question to. Just make sure and keep it weather related. We're going to answer all of those questions coming up in about 10 to 15 minutes. The number that you want to send that text message to is
309-304-0888. Text and message rates do apply.
Yes, if you're still on one of those dinosaur phone plans where you got to pay per text.
Honestly, it would be nice though to have like a flip phone.
I kind of miss those days.
Right?
I do.
Less social media and
Yeah.
pick up.
I was a lot more productive
Yeah,
back in those
exactly,
days. We'll
exactly.
put it that way. So yeah, we'll get started with the weather discussion. Then we'll talk about the two questions that I answered this week. One of them had to deal with the winter of 1978 and 1979. That's a big year.
I've
if
heard
you
a
grew up
lot
here.
about it.
Yeah, everybody thinks that was the worst winter they possibly went through in their lifetime here. And you're partly right. There was one that was actually a little bit worse, but not by far. We're going to talk about that. And then today, I had a question involving what a nor'easter was.
Oh, those are fun.
Yes, so we're going to dive into that and why they're so harsh and why they form. But first, we're going to start with rain.
Rain. We needed it.
We did, yeah. Did you have anything on the way in?
My car not on the way in this morning, but my car had the little dots,
Yes.
which means I'm going to need a car wash again. But if you're looking to get a car wash maybe after this, maybe we should wait.
Yes, you will want to wait
Yeah.
because the shower train is going to continue. Even though we get a break tomorrow, we're going to see some showers come back, I think, by the end of the week.
Oh, yeah.
And then some rain this weekend, which I'm going to give you a first look at Future Track regarding that rainfall situation this weekend coming up in a second. Let's start with what's going on with the shower activity this morning. We'll pull up the radar here. It's been really scattered. I still think it's umbrella worthy because we have these pockets of some of these heavier downpours, albeit brief, that are streaming in. But so far, a lot of this activity has been kind of limited to areas north of Interstate 80 this morning.
And that's really what it's been all week. It's felt like it's just kind of continued to be Clinton, Jackson, Carroll, Davies County. That's primarily it.
Yeah, we just haven't been able to really sink this to the south much. So we had one little spit sprinkle move through the Quad Cities. What we're going to be tracking is some more activity there near Muscatine. But if you live north up to Clinton, Savannah, even Sterling Rock Falls, you may get this steadier batch of rain that's going to move in close to 10:30, 11 o'clock, right about GMQC at 11 time. You can see that moving due east there. We'll put a little tracker on it for you here so you can see what the time of arrival is. We'll see how good I was at my guessing game. Was I right when I said 10:30, 11?
They're moving
Or is it going to be
slowly.
early? You know, they are kind of chugging along a little slowly. Yeah, about 10:19. Sterling Rock Falls, probably a little bit later for areas in Carroll County, about 10:30. Not too bad.
Not bad.
That's what happens when you've been doing this for so long.
Oh, you kind of become a pro at it, don't you?
You kind of get accustomed to the spatial difference, I guess. I wish I could pick lottery numbers like that. Let's go to the wider shot here. Yeah, you got a lot of shower activity, even into central Iowa that has yet to go through. And look at western Iowa. So these showers are going to continue on and off throughout the morning. There's some question as to how many are going to hang out for the afternoon. I do think the afternoon showers will be thinner in terms of how many we're going to see.
Yeah, that's definitely what I was seeing yesterday, too.
Yeah.
So I haven't looked at too much in terms of models so far this morning, but yesterday it's been consistent there and still kind of trending north even for any afternoon coverage.
Yeah, really has been the northern hometowns that have kind of been the target for all this shower activity. We'll go through the latest rendition of Future Track because the area is going to be divided in two, just like it was yesterday. All morning long, we were watching the Clinton camera, the Sterling Rock Falls camera. It was sunny. But we had no sunshine in the Quad Cities. Even at my house in Geneseo, I had no sunshine yesterday afternoon. It was cloudy as could be.
Oh, but I bet if you went 15 minutes to the east, you probably would have had some sunshine from Geneseo, right?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could see the clearing line, and it just didn't make it in. So who gets it today? Well, there's your showers moving through as we go through this morning, but it's this afternoon, and this time it's south. If you live in southeast Iowa, right about here, I think that's an opportunity to see some partial clearing this afternoon. Now, it's not going to be mostly sunny by any means, but there will be some moments of sunshine. So this is the area that's going to warm up.
That's the warm front moving through, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Finally, you can
that
see
wind
it right
switch.
there. Yeah, right there. From Galesburg out towards Washington. It's kind of something we look for a lot. For
Good
these
eye.
types of systems.
Yeah. If this was a warm front that was more put together and we had a little bit more dynamics, we'd be talking about a severe threat today, but there's no strong area of low pressure or anything attached to it that would cause that. So instead, like Peter pointed out, you've got that wind switch to the south, and that's going to warm those areas to the 70s. And tomorrow, that front actually blows on by early in the morning with maybe a spit or a sprinkle that I'm showing you here. But tomorrow, I think, is a better opportunity with some clearing skies that we're going to see more of us closer to 80 degrees. And I want to show you how quickly these clouds are going to clear out tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, it's so cool.
It's cloudy here, partly cloudy, and then here they go. They're going away.
Kaput.
Yeah. Really impressive.
It's going to be nice, though. I don't mind a warm day after kind of the...
No.
They haven't been, like, cold or anything these past couple of days, but, like, a nice sunny day to just go take a walk. I'm not going to complain about.
Yeah. Very comfortable.
It's going to be good.
Very comfortable. We've had these comfortable mornings, too, as well.
Oh, they're fantastic.
We're going to talk a little bit about that storm system for the weekend. We got the new severe storm zones from the Storm Prediction Center fresh this morning. This is the Friday storm zone, not even anywhere close to us.
No.
And right now it's just a 1 out of 5. What happened to the Saturday one, though? Did we see north or southward movement? Well, we saw southward movement with this morning, now taking that 1 out of 5 down to near Springfield and St. Louis. But upping the potential you see still for the whole state of Arkansas. Looks like Memphis is going to be in for some rough weather this weekend. They're talking about everything from tornadoes to strong winds and a large hail coming together.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of have the perfect recipe, right? Because they have the moisture. That's kind of the big flow that they're getting that we are missing, is we've been so dry, right? Down south, obviously, it's a lot easier to pick up that Gulf moisture. And this is their secondary severe season. This is kind of especially down south. Once we see that jet start to shift, we can see actually an uptick in tornado numbers.
That's right.
So it's very fascinating.
A lot of dynamics will be coming into play, and there are potentially some times in the weeks ahead where some of this may try to nudge a little bit further northward, especially as the cooler air gets a little more potent and that warm air continues to try and invade up in our region. So doesn't look like we'll be worrying about severe weather here this weekend, thankfully, but we will have a decent shot at seeing some rain. I'm going to show you two different models. We can go out with our in-house model right now to about 11 o'clock Friday night.
Okay.
And that's kind of a nice thing because, of course, we're talking about week 8 of high school football. We're getting down to the final weeks here. And we're not expecting an impact rain-wise to football this week. Good, right? But if you have plans on Saturday, we're still getting some timing differences here with the rain coming in. Now, no doubt Saturday morning, yes, is going to be wet. But even the newer runs of the models this morning are keeping us wet Saturday afternoon and even into Saturday evening, still keeping this solid line of rain and thunderstorms.
Is this the Euro?
This is the Euro, the European.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. It started in the afternoon. It started to pick that up.
So we may see a secondary wave perhaps later in the afternoon into the evening. You're noticing where the winds are coming from, though. Notice here in the Quad Cities, we're from the north and northwest, so that's why our severe weather potential is not here. It's further south. But there's even the possibility now that some of this could linger with a shower or two, especially Illinois side into Sunday morning.
Yep, I saw that last week. That trend was actually originally kind of that second wave was coming through all the way as early as Sunday.
Yeah.
And then it kind of took it back a little bit. Now it's put it back in. But the GFS, I think specifically, has had a little bit more lingering on Sunday, if I remember.
Yeah, I tried to put some into Sunday afternoon even.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit more of an outlier solution. I'm not buying that quite yet. I could see the Sunday morning.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
But Sunday afternoon, I want to at least give you half your weekend that you can salvage to get something.
Oh, my goodness.
Because we're not getting much done on Saturday, it looks like, by any means here.
Well, and the good news is, that looks big, but we are looking at the global ensembles, right? Which as I always like to say, it's like looking at a fuzzy TV screen.
Yep,
It's like in 480p versus 1080p.
exactly.
So we could be seeing that coverage maybe slim down a little bit. Most everyone should see rain, right? But I don't know if it'll be, hopefully not, an all-day event.
Yeah,
For everyone.
That's what we're hoping is we can squeeze a few dry hours in on Saturday, and we can give you while we're here and we have a moment or two. You can see what Peter's talking about. Here's the high resolution model. Look at how small the clusters are here, how narrow the rain band is, and then like you said, Peter, you go out to the longer range and it just blows up and it looks like this massive rain event. But that's due to that low resolution you were talking about.
So that's kind of something to keep in mind when we show out these longer range events. What I always kind of like to point out is you just look for the darker, almost contours on there.
Yeah.
That's a good idea of where it's most likely, like, say, this little pocket here and just to the south of the Quad Cities rather than maybe these little lighter colors typically. It's kind of my idea on it.
Exactly. No, you're exactly right on that. The darker colors indicating where you're likely going to have that better coverage, and the lighter colors indicating where you're not going to have so much coverage.
No.
Yeah, right on the money with that. Everyone's wondering, of course, too, what's the rainfall potential on this? So this is going to also be the European model that will pull in for this.
Oh, boy, that jumped up significantly.
I know, even yesterday. Now, 2 inches plus, I'm not thinking that's going to be widespread like what we're showing here, but perhaps up to an inch of rain?
I think up to an inch is about
Yeah.
been what I've been shown.
Yeah.
Maybe isolated areas. If we do get any thunderstorm activity, could we climb over an inch? Yeah.
Yeah.
2 inches? Unlikely.
Yeah. You'd
That's
have
like
to
a
have,
10, 20% pops, we could say, on that.
Yeah.
If we were to give percentages. But we
you'd
don't
have
do
to
that.
have the repeating storms, and
Yeah.
I think that to get that 2 inches. Yeah. But
Unlikely.
let's count on at least a little bit of a soaking on Saturday.
Which is good. We need it.
We do.
Are the Hawkeyes home this weekend?
They are. It's
Oh,
6
buggers.
o'clock on Saturday.
Oh, that's good. It's trending a
So-
little later.
Yeah, I'm hoping they can catch a little bit of a break. But if you are going to the Hawkeye game, do bring the rain gear just in case this thing
Yeah.
backtracks a little bit.
I need to check the Illini on that one, too.
Yeah, see if Illinois is going to be playing at home or if they're
Yes.
playing away this week. I know Iowa is back home this week. 8-day, you can see the temperature drop behind that, still going low 60s on Sunday. And we have a lot of 60s next week. Every single day, with the exception of what's on
Monday?
your side there,
Yeah,
is
Monday.
in the 60s.
Wow.
This will be our longest stretch of 60s so far this second half of 2025. So it'll really feel like fall next week.
I was going to say, are we looking at any temperatures into the 30s?
There is some potential, yes, that we may have to talk about the F word.
Uh-oh.
Frost. Frost.
Yeah, frost. Not freeze.
Keep it clean. No. No freeze yet.
No, no.
That'll be a little ways away. But yeah, we're talking frost.
So that means our first snow's coming then, right?
Don't even go there. If it snows in the next 2 weeks, he just jinxed it. Don't come after me. It's all Peter on that one. No, I hope we don't have any snow in the near term. I don't think we do with these kind of temperatures.
No.
There you see mid-70s coming back in week number 2. Maybe some thunderstorms there as well. So that's looking pretty nice for the end of October.
I'm not mad about this.
No, it looks
I
good.
think we should soak these in before. I know I say that on here a lot, but it's like, I know people have been asking, well, where's like the 50s? It's like, but what comes after the 50s?
Exactly. The word that he just said. Snow.
No.
Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that stuff. Not yet.
No, not
Quite
yet.
yet. Couple of questions that we had this week, and then we're going to get right to your questions. Looks like we've got a good lineup so far from what I can see in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
This was from Celeste, which I love that name, by the way. It's one of my favorite
good
names.
one.
Yes. From Alita, what is a nor'easter and what makes it so harsh? So let's define what a nor'easter is first, and I'll actually show you a picture, a satellite picture of a nor'easter.
The comma of it is just so perfect.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's gorgeous.
And this is a good representation of why a nor'easter is different from a tropical storm or a hurricane. Because look at this big gap in the clouds that you have right here. You don't get that with a hurricane or a tropical storm unless it really gets involved with some dry air. But this is a classic example of a low pressure that's got fronts attached to it. And you can clearly see where those fronts are.
Yep. It's beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
What I was talking about with the comma too is kind of what we look for a lot, and like
Yeah.
the strong storms kind of right as they're nearing peak intensity before they collapse. Many times is kind of that comma shape that indicates a lot stronger storms, strong lows, with the strong warm front than that cold pushing behind it.
Very,
So-
very
It's fascinating to look at. But
It is.
that's kind of a good indication of a strong low. 'Cause most of the time, especially in like our summer systems, right, we don't get those strong lows as much with those steep
No,
temperature gradients.
We don't.
But those nor'easters, you start to get that Arctic air, that cooler water moving down with the warmer air. It kind of helps create it a little bit, right?
That's right. There's an energy imbalance, and we need something to balance all of that out. And what is it going to be? It's going to be a strong area of low pressure. In this one, in case of this one, it's maximized its strength at this point in its lifestyle. So here's your definition for a nor'easter. It's exactly what Peter was just talking about. It's a very strong area of low pressure. Typically forms between Georgia and New Jersey, though there are some others that can form across the Midwest and then go to the East Coast. There's two different types of nor'easters. I'm keeping it simple and just going with the basic definition here. I don't want to confuse you too much. But he's also right, too. If you look at the most common time or common months of the year when these form, September through April.
Yep.
Because you're talking about those differences in temperature.
And it's those, I mean, that's kind of the big driver. It's like, I'm trying to think, those stronger cold fronts, I guess, right?
Yep.
You know, you get the development of those tight gradients on the 500 millibar maps. We love to talk about those, right?
Yes.
Fascinating to study. But on a synoptic scale, that's where you get those rushes of the Arctic air. You still have the warm air in the tropics. You still have hurricane. Not that this is a hurricane, but you know, you can tell the air's still warm enough and the water's still warm enough for that. It's fascinating.
It is an impressive storm system that gets put together. And the majority of this is powered by the ocean and the contrast in those temperatures. Here's the setup. This is the typical setup now. There's two different kinds. I'm showing you one of the two here that involves that cold Arctic air, usually situated over us. So while there's a nor'easter on the East Coast, we're usually quiet. There's not much happening here. But you have all this warm water that's coming up from the Gulf. We call this little narrow corridor of really warm water the Gulf Stream because it's literally warm, extremely warm water coming up from the Gulf that goes around Florida and then makes its way to the north and the east.
Yeah.
Big temperature difference.
Great fishing along that.
I knew you would know that, yes. Being the big fisherman you are, yeah, I'm sure it is very exciting to fish along those
Great to
stretches.
fish along it, but also, yeah, great to storm chase along it too.
Yes, it creates a very dynamic weather environment. And with that warm water, the cold air, and then you have this powerhouse of a jet stream separating the two, that's where you get your really deep area of low pressure that will form right along it. And we call it a nor'easter because it's going up the northeast coast. And you see this in the news a lot for many reasons. One, all of our national news networks, whether it be ABC, NBC, CBS, everybody is headquartered in New York, New York.
Yeah.
And that's typically where these things go and they impact. So
And it is the highest population density in the United States.
that's right. So you're going to hear about it.
You're going to hear about it, but it does kind of also create up a, it's not like a blocked up pattern that a hurricane can create, but it kind of can slow things down a little bit. I think that's kind of what's playing a factor this week, right?
Exactly. You're exactly right, because we had a nor'easter over the weekend into the early part of the week. That's kind of blocked that pattern. And thank goodness it's not winter, because they would be talking about feet of snow. And sometimes these things, depending on how strong they are, can amplify the strength of our cold air here. So we would have been bone-chilling cold had this been in the wintertime, but thankfully we don't have the support for that right now.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And no,
We don't
it's
need
too
that
early to
quite
be
yet.
talking about that.
I agree.
That's the 97 nor'easter. We were talking about that yesterday.
Yes, there were a couple of them. You had that one in 97, and then there was one the year after. Did we say that? There was another storm that traversed the whole country.
So that, I think that was the 98
Was it
storm.
98?
It started like all the way in the Midwest and had
Yeah.
like derecho almost like qualities. And then it just, the whole front was from Texas to like here in the Quad Cities, and it brought tornado activity down in Florida. That wasn't a nor'easter, but just a fascinating,
But it was another very
it's
strong
like the
storm.
biggest storm in United States history. And then it brought snow to Washington, D.C. to New York, but again, like storm surge almost to portions of the Gulf Coast of Florida. Crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people study that, and I'm
It
sure
is.
they still do to this day,
Oh,
too.
they do.
The other last question we had was, are we having the possibility, or will we have the possibility to see a repeat of the winter of 1978, 1979, where we had 50 plus inches of snow, and we had one snowstorm bring us 18 plus inches of snow. The month of January brought us more than 2 feet of snow for the whole month. So just kind of looking at some of the ingredients and the setup we have this year versus that year. So going back to that winter, we had a weak El Nino.
Oh, no.
We don't have that this year. It's the opposite, actually. October, November, December were all way warmer than normal in terms of temperatures. Those same months also had a lot of rainfall. In fact, November and December, both of those months had more than 3 inches of rain.
What?
Yeah.
November, December?
And typically we only see a little bit more than an inch both of those months of rain.
I was gonna say sometimes even half an inch.
Yeah. So it was wet, it was active. There was also a slightly more active Atlantic hurricane season. You can't discount hurricane seasons and their impacts on this kind of stuff either. So if you compare that to what's going on this year so far, are there any similarities? Well, one I can tell you right now is look at October. As of today, it is 7 degrees warmer than average. That's been the average temperature so far this month. So October's warm. That's a match. Hasn't been wetter, though. We've about averaged on precipitation for rain.
Could that change though?
Yes. It
Maybe
just
this
takes
weekend.
one
Takes one. Maybe this weekend.
to push you over the edge, so that could happen. As we said earlier, we're in a weak La Nina now. That is official as of last week. So that's opposite. But we've also had an active hurricane season. So there's a couple of things that are matching here, and then there's a few that aren't matching. So we have a couple of signals here, but I want to show you how rare that was. If you go back, this is the total snowfall for every single winter in the Quad Cities since the late 1800s. Only 2 times have we breached the 50-inch snowfall total for a season. 78, 79, 13, and 14. Only twice. So even if you're not a mathematician or a statistician, you do statistics, the chances of 78 and 79 happening again are pretty low.
2 and 140. If I'm doing that math right.
I think you're right. Yeah.
2 and
It's not good odds.
1
at
over
all.
70. That's like a 1 point. I don't know. 3, 4, or
Something like that.
1.34% chance of happening.
Barely 1%. A
Yeah.
little bit over 1%. Yeah. It's not that great.
Ooh.
It is not great at all. But you can see, I didn't put a trend line on this one like I usually do, but even though our winters are getting warmer, we are consistently seeing more snowfall. And you can see that upward trend just looking at the data.
Which is fascinating because we've been trending warmer with temperatures.
Yep.
But I feel like in a way that would also help with snowfall because we can get the warmer, moist air from the south mixing with our cold air.
That's right. You get the more moisture content, which leads to heavier snowfall totals. So do we get a 78, 79 anytime soon? Probably not. I mean, we had the one that rivaled that. It was 52.9 inches, by the way, 78, 79. We beat that back in 2013 by just a smidge, 53.3. Yeah.
Neither sound fun. Neither sound fun.
That I did not live through 78, 79, obviously, but I did live through 2013, 2014, and I can tell you that was not a fun winter at all.
Doesn't sound like it.
At all.
I liked our, what was our total last year? 10 inches maybe?
It was barely a foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was bad.
I like that. I like the sound of that.
It was bad in terms of if you were a fan of snow, it was a bad winter for that.
I don't mind one big snow, but then we can
move on.
Yeah.
Just enough for Christmas, right?
Just actually, yeah, White Christmas would be awesome.
That's
That
all we
sounds
need.
so cool.
A lot of us would be so happy if that was the case. All right, we've got 22, 23 minutes now past the hour. We can get to your questions. Let's see who we have in the chat this morning.
We got one of our top fans.
Billy?
Got it.
Yes.
First
Yes.
try. First try. With the La Nina advisory being issued, how does this change our forecast this winter and second severe season wise? Then thank you for everything. And thank you, Billy. You're the
Yes.
best.
We appreciate you joining us each week. So we've been anticipating the whole La Nina thing for months.
We've been talking about it.
Yeah, we've been showing you that forecast graph, the
Yep.
probability of seeing La Nina conditions. Nothing really changes with that. The advisory just confirms that we are officially in a La Nina like we expected.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's a weak La Nina, so it's not going to have a super, super, super huge influence, but it's enough to give us some ideas. Again, we're kind of going with the fact that we're likely going to be a little colder than normal and snowier than normal.
Yep.
But one thing we also can talk about too, because you were asking about severe weather season, it is likely, and we've seen this in so many years past, that as we transition out of that La Nina in the spring, it could uptick our spring severe weather season next year.
It's true.
So we may have to hold on.
Well, the La Nina really didn't hold together too well last year. We did see the impacts early season down south. It didn't make its way here, but, I mean, we saw those strong storms in Tennessee and the portions of, Arkansas, just back to back to back last year. So if that holds and it shifts a little bit more again.
Yeah. And you touched on this last week, I think it was too. the drought situation.
Yeah.
Do we get the snow this winter to support enough ground moisture for the severe weather in the spring as well?
That's huge.
Which was a great point that you brought up last week.
Hugely important.
So we're going to watch more of that. And we'll talk more about that severe weather season after we get through winter first. We want to focus on
Yes.
winter first. But great question.
Yes. Want to guess the next one?
Marcus?
Yeah.
Ah,
Holy
yes.
cow. You could guess anyone in our viewing area right now.
My senses are tingling.
They are. My question is, how does the moon influence the weather? The moon.
Das Moon. So it does have an influence on something that we talk about in terms of weather. Of course, the tides.
Big influence.
Yeah, if you live along the coast, you get these high tides and these low tides. It's a little complicated to explain, but it has to deal with Earth's magnetic fields and all of that. I'm not a physicist, so I can't get into a deep dive explanation to this, but I just know that the distance, of course, and of course, a couple of other factors figure in to raise the water levels at certain times of the month and then lower the water levels, but it has a big impact on tides.
Yes.
Mainly.
Mainly the surfers and the fishermen.
Yeah. Not so much the atmosphere or
boaters.
cloud cover or anything like that.
No.
Great question.
That is a great question, though. Hello, Riley. What did the thermometer say to the barometer?
Yes, we get our weather joke of the day. Okay,
do.
what did the thermometer say to the barometer? Why do you look so low? Why are you so low? Is that the answer? No?
You really raised the pressure.
Oh, you really raised the pressure. That was cute.
That was a good one.
I like that.
That was a good one.
I like it.
Michelle asked, when the El Nino report came out, it says wetter winter. Does that mean snow, or do you think rain ice mix? That's something to talk about too.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
You could have either a lot of rain, a lot of snow, or a lot of ice. Really all depends on the temperature.
And we had the ice storm last year
We did, yeah.
at the start when the La Nina was still going a little bit, just a tad, but it was still there.
Yeah. And one of the things that you really, especially with ice storms, you can get a little bit of a precursor of your risk early in the winter. So if we get into much of December and we don't have a lot of cold air yet, enough to kind of freeze the ground, and then all of a sudden we rush into this cold air really quickly, that could increase your ice storm potential. So really when we get to December, we start to get a little bit of a sense of what that potential could be. We're waiting to see how fast does the cold air get in here, how fast does the ground freeze, and that'll tell us that risk as we get a little further along.
I hope not. That was scary.
It's terrifying to drive in. Absolutely terrifying. The sense of no control whatsoever. I mean,
I had to ice skate through our parking lot in the back here. I was literally doing skating.
the shuffle, yeah. And you're a pro skater too because you play
Oh,
hockey.
I want to say pro.
Oh, you're probably a lot more pro than us. But yeah, he's a hockey player. So he's, if he falls in the parking lot, then I don't know, we all got a problem. We're going to be crawling.
I was scared. That was my first time experiencing that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's not fun. Not fun.
Michelle wants me to experience a 78, 79 blizzard every week.
Every
She's
week?
she calls it out every week.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Man,
It's like it's gonna happen now.
I don't think we have enough milk and bread to survive a back-to-back snowstorm like we
No.
had back in 78, 79, where everything was shut down. I remember the drifts. Some folks were saying the drifts were over their windows,
Yeah, weren't there some even over the roofs?
over the roof, yeah, because of the blizzard and the winds and everything. I say no, thank you.
No, gracias.
Poor Cooper, he'd be on his own.
Oh.
Sorry, I can't get in the house.
No. Oh my goodness.
Climb through the roof if you know how.
Riley was wondering about her stumper about the valley. We still got to research that.
We still have to research that, yes.
We've been busy.
That was a difficult one.
Yes.
That involves a supercomputer, so
We do need the super.
I promise you, yeah, we will research that. We'll try and have an answer next week when we come back.
Hopefully.
That's my homework.
Yes.
I promise, Riley, I will get you my homework. The dog won't eat it. He'll try to eat it, but I promise we'll get you our homework.
Tries to eat most things, doesn't
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pumpkin salt shaker last night that he tried to eat.
Wait, a pumpkin salt
Yeah,
shaker?
or a skull salt shaker.
Oh, okay, I see. I was like, pumpkin, like for making pumpkin pie? Or are we talking
Oh,
pumpkin
gosh, no.
spice? Or are we talking salt itself?
That would be such a mess.
That wouldn't be good.
He's a rambunctious little dude, let me tell
But
you.
he's a cutie pie.
He is, yes.
He's a cutie pie.
That's why he can't get in trouble.
That's all I got question-wise on my end.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, it looks like we're all caught up.
and right on time.
The timing is perfect. It's like people at home sense the
They
countdown.
know. They know.
Like, okay, I got to save my question for next week. And that's okay. You can
is.
do that. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you, Peter, for coming
Oh,
in.